Hi, boys and girls. My name is Miss Melissa, and it's time for art class. I hear that you have been learning about immigration centers in the United States of America. And you've been learning this in your ELA class. Well, how would you like to draw a map of Lin Wen and his father leaving China and traveling to the United States of America? Do you remember what reasons they wanted to come to the United States in the first place? Why did they want to leave China and travel to the U.S. so badly? That's right. Their destination was Gold Mountain. Your map will look something like this. You are going to need one sheet of white paper, a couple of pencils, and your crayons and or your markers. Now, here is a picture of the world map. Let's see what you remember about immigrants traveling to the United States of America. I tell you what, why don't I outline this for you so we could see this country. Now, this is where I live too. So, this is our country with some islands and another state. These three things are part of the United States of America. Now, you have been learning that people that live from Europe travel to the East Coast. So let's see if we can find Europe. This is the continent of Europe. And all these little colors inside of this big chunk of land are countries. People from these countries are called, since they're from Europe, Europeans, and they travel to the East Coast of our country. If this is north, down here must be south. On this side is west, very good. And on this side, anything that side is what? East, very good. So, if you're looking at the United States, the Europeans traveled to the, that's right, East Coast. Do you remember the name of the immigration center that the Europeans traveled through on the East Coast? That's right, Ellis Island. And many people from Ellis Island traveled right next door to New York City. And that is where many of the Europeans lived. Now, you've also learned that people that live in Asia travel to the United States as well. And they are called Asians. Let me show you the continent of Asia. Asia is giant, a very big continent. And it also has different countries. We are actually going to learn about two people that left China to travel to the United States, and that is Lin Wen and his father. Do you know that they crossed the Pacific Ocean and they traveled to the, what would we call this, west or east coast? The west coast. And do you remember the name of the immigration center that they passed through on the west coast? That was called Angel Island. Very good. And many of them settled in the city of San Francisco. This is the city that we are going to be focusing on because Lin Wen and his father ended up moving in that area. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, how could they have traveled through the Pacific Ocean and come on the west side if they were all the way in China? Well, if you look at a globe, which is the world, that we live in. It's a ball. You'll see that China is right across the Pacific Ocean from the United States. So basically, if I were to fold this map together, you would see that China and the United States are right on each side of the ocean. Do you remember the name? There's another name for San Francisco. Chinatown, that's right, because immigrants who settled in San Francisco came from China. And why did some of the people from China want to come to the United States to begin with? Do you remember? The people from China heard through the grapevine that there is a whole mountain made of gold, gleaming in the sun. You just chip away the mountain and soon you are as rich as the Emperor of China. So everybody wanted to travel here to find that mountain of gold. Now, was the gold mountain, did it even exist? No, that was just a myth, huh? And even though Gold Mountain is not a real place, did you know that there are tons and tons of mountains right around San Francisco in the state of California? I'm actually going to show you some pictures of mountains from California. Let's take a look at some. If you can see this book, it says Ansel Adams. And one of the things he took pictures of were mountains. And I thought I would show you a few, especially when he traveled to California. Here are two photographs that Ansel Adams took in California. You could see here the mountains way in the background. And then here we have a very tall peak of a mountain. As you could see, this mountain has snow on top of it. You could see how high the top of this mountain is. And you could see how the mountains stretch for miles and miles. So yes, California has lots of mountains. But as we learned, Gold Mountain was just a myth. Let's go ahead and learn about the lines and shapes that we can use to help us draw Lin Wen and his father's travels. Boys and girls, just take a look at these lines and a few shapes that I'm going to show you. I want you to look and don't copy off of me. So here we have do you know what this is? A wavy line. Very good. We're going to draw wavy lines for the water in the Pacific Ocean. Here we have a curvy line. We're going to draw curvy lines for the boat that Lin Wen and his father traveled in, and long curvy lines to draw China and the United States. Which picture is this shape of the triangle going to resemble? That's right. We're going to draw lots of triangles to show the mountains in California, right next to San Francisco. Boys and girls, I would like you to take your white paper out and go ahead and get your pencils. What I want you to do is copy off of me. This side of our paper is going to be the United States of America. Do you remember the name of the ocean that is in between the United States and China? That's right. So the middle is going to be Pacific Ocean. Now, on the left side of our paper is going to be the country of China. That is where Lin Wen and his father came from. So, what I would like you to do is make 2 dots at the top of your paper to show how we're going to divide up our paper in 3. Watch. 2 dots gives us 1, 2, 3 sections. 1, 2, 3 sections. Got it? So make your 2 dots and copy off of me. the United States on the west coast kind of curves around and goes in. So we're going to do that together. Watch. We're going to come around, oops, and curve in. So go around, out a bit, and curve in. And China does something a little similar. Watch. And this, we're just drawing like chunks of land to kind of guess. Okay, ready? It curves in with one little bump, and then back in and out. Okay, so watch, curve in with a bump, back in and out. And when you go out, it's rounded all the way. This kind of reminds me of a violin or a guitar shape. All right, so this is going to be China. This is going to be the United States, and Lin Wen and his dad crossed the Pacific Ocean. So I would like you to draw some wavy lines. Oh, you know what? We have to draw Lin and his father. So you can draw a couple, but let's draw them on their boat together, okay? Ready? I want you, and I think they went across on a steamboat. So we're going to draw a big curve, and we're going to curve it back out. Just make a curvy shaped boat. And I think there was like, I don't know, from my mind, I remember there being like some kind of rectangle with some circles. So this way people that travel can go inside when it's raining and things like that. All right, so you can draw Lin Wen and his father. I'm just going to do a little stick figure because it's going to be really hard to see them on a map. So go ahead and make your boat. I made my boat with two curves and a rectangle with some circle windows. All right, once you're done drawing the boat, then you can draw some more wavy lines. A wavy line is a curve that just keeps going up and down, because the ocean is very wavy. So continue drawing your wavy lines. Might put a few more up here. Now, while you're drawing, remember that Lin Wen and his father traveled to, what was that city? That's right, San Francisco. So let's go ahead and draw a dot about right in the middle of our curvy line of the United States. Draw a dot. That's going to be San Francisco, also known as Chinatown, right? And that is in California. Let me show you what the state of California looks like. If you were to make a straight line at the top, well, I say at the top, make like almost at the top, but not quite. Make a straight line, leave some space, watch, and you curve down and come back around. Something like that. This whole section would be California. All right, that's all the parts we're going to draw. A lot of the rest of this map needs to be labeled with words and colored, so we'll know, what color is the ocean and what color, what do the mountains look like. So let's start adding our words. Ready? Since this is China, we're going to write China, capital C-H-I-N-A. Now, if you're still drawing the water in the ocean or California, that's fine. You could always copy these words. And keep in mind, you can erase if you need to. If not, we can always color over it, especially if you're going to use a marker. Now, so if this is China, this whole area of land is the USA. USA, United States of America. That's our whole country. China is a country, USA is a country. I just showed you where California was, because California has a lot of mountains. So here is San Francisco. What I want you to do is draw lots of triangles, and they don't have to be perfect, to show the symbols of mountains. Remember how Lin and his father traveled to go find Gold Mountain? Did they ever find it? No. That was a make-believe story. But there are a lot of mountains in California, and that's what we're drawing. So you're going to draw some triangles going on top of San Francisco. Go across and bring your triangles all the way back down almost to the bottom of the state. That's how many mountains there are in California. So far you should have wavy lines for your Pacific Ocean, some curvy lines for your boat, and if you wanted to add the deck on top with the rectangles and circles, you could have. We have China, we have USA, and inside of the USA we outline California with all the triangular shaped mountains and the dot for San Francisco. Now let's go ahead and label the Pacific Ocean. And you can write it anywheres, really. I have some room right here on top. And you're just going to copy off of me. And one thing I like to do is trace all of my words in black. So we're going to be doing that together. Now keep in mind, this is important. Lin Wen and his father left China. So we need to draw some little dashed lines to show that they left China and they're traveling here. So you might want to maybe draw some little dotted or dashed lines to show they're going in this direction, right? And they were traveling what? Were they traveling north? No. Were they traveling south? Nope. Were they traveling west? No. They were traveling east. So we could even make a compass. You can put north, south, west, and east. And I like to draw arrows using straight lines, and you could even make a circle around it to show that this is a compass, whatever kind of compass you want to design. Just make sure you have north at the top, south at the bottom, west and east. So once you get all those parts in and write the words and draw your compass, then we can start tracing our words. I would like everybody to pick up their black marker. That way, whenever we color, we're not going to hide our words. Now, while I'm tracing, you may be tracing with me, or you might even be still writing words or drawing triangles for your mountains. Just keep in mind that you get to color this. Now, I know the United States has a lot of grass and soil, right? So I'm probably going to color all of the United States green. And I want it to look different than China, so I started looking into China, and guess what? even though China has a lot of grasslands and rainforest areas, they also have a lot of desert. So I was going to color China yellow just to show the difference between that and the USA. So you can kind of, pick your colors of choice. And then, of course, the ocean is going to be blue. Now, I don't have that many ranges of markers, so that's why I'm using markers and crayons. So let's see. So far, we should have China, USA, Pacific Ocean, your compass. I'm going to put the dot for San Francisco and my arrows all in black. That way we could see Lin Wen and his father's journey from China to San Francisco. Boys and girls, I'm going to start coloring, and I'm probably not going to finish because time is going to run out. So I'll end up showing you a sneak preview at the end later. But as soon as you're done tracing all of your words and your arrows to show where they traveled and your compass, you can start coloring. I would like you to color your whole map. And maybe think about, the colors of the mountains. Mountains could be what? Gray, brown, right? Maybe you have snowy mountains and you want to leave them white. So I like to take my marker and trace first. You see? Then I can color. So since China has a lot of desert, all of this is going to be yellow. And I'm going to fill it in. I'm just kind of showing you. I typically like to make brown mountains, so I'm going to color in all of my triangles brown. Now, if you have a gray, you can do that. You can trace it with gray or color it. Really, whatever you want. So you can do this with me. And maybe you won't like to trace. Maybe you don't like to trace. I don't know. You don't have to. This is just how I do it. It kind of helps me stay inside the lines. So basically we're making like our own little map. All right. So I'm going to take the green marker. Remember how I told you I like to trace things? And California is still in the USA, but I just wanted to show you the difference. Because of that artist Ansel Adams, remember? He traveled to a lot of places on the West Coast, and he took a lot of pictures of many of the areas outdoors, and the California mountains was one of the areas that he liked to photograph. So I thought it was neat that I was able to show you some of the real mountains in California. Even though Gold Mountain is a myth, there's still a lot of mountains to explore on the west coast of the United States of America. Boys and girls, as you can see, I'm just filling in all of my white spaces because I want to show all of the United States green and all of China yellow. Now, I am going to color this part green. It's just going to be with a crayon to show you the difference of the mountain range in California on the west coast. So yeah, make sure you get inside the lines so your map makes sense. And I want the bottom of their boat to be brown, and I want the deck to be white with some yellow lights on. Perfect. And I would like my compass to be red. Now I'm going to use my crayons because I don't want to color over my markers. So you see, the markers show the actual wavy line wave. So that's why I'm using the crayon, because I'll still be able to see it. Now, if you don't want to color over your words, you can leave white around them. That's fine. I just think drawing this map really helps me understand where Lin Wen and his father were coming from, and what would it look like if it were a map. So boys and girls, take a look. I told you I was going to give you a sneak preview of my finished map, and here it is. So I have all of my labeled words in black marker and my compass, and even my little dotted and or dashed line to show their travels to San Francisco. Now, if you notice, I colored green, blue, and yellow mostly because this type of map that we're making is going to be showing the land and the body of water. And your labels help to see Lin Wen and his father's travels. I hope this helped you understand where they were coming from and how they got to where they were going. And you could even see all these mountains around them. Maybe that's why there was a myth about Gold Mountain, because there were so many in California. I think you're doing a great job with your map, boys and girls. I'm so glad you joined me today. I had a lot of fun creating a map of Lin Wen and his father's journey to Gold Mountain. Do you remember the name of the famous artist who is known for taking photographs of the mountains on the west coast of the United States? Do you remember that artist's name? I'll give you a hint. He created black and white photographs. Ansel Adams, that's right. Do you remember the lines and shapes that we used the most when drawing our map? That's right. We used a lot of curvy and wavy lines, and we drew many little triangles for the mountains. Well, as you go through the rest of your week, I hope you get a chance to make another map. Maybe you can make a map of another story that you read, so it can help you see the events taking place. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time.